everybody, I'm the Gulf Coast Granny. Today we're going to do a garden tour. Me and Poppy got the garden almost completed, so I want to show you guys that. But before I do, I want to tell you a story. About 2 weeks ago, my daughter called me and said, "Mama, I want to grow a garden." And I said, "What?" Because my daughter's never grown anything her life except for my granddaughter. So I said, "Well, let's do it." I said, "Me and Poppy will come over and we'll build you some beds." And she goes, "Well, I'll probably just kill everything anyway. I don't even know if I'm good at it." And all of this negativity started. I said, wait a minute. I said, "Honey, the purpose of a seed is to grow a plant. And the purpose of the plant is to make more seeds." I said, "You can hardly stop nature from doing what nature does." I said, "All you have to do is make sure it gets sunlight, water, and the proper nutrients." I said, "And if you do that, you're going to grow food." So when my daughter decides to do something, she decides that she's going to do it right now, and she didn't have time to wait on me and Poppy to come over there and build her some beds. So she went and bought some kiddie pools, and she planted cucumbers and squash and watermelons and green beans. So she's got her little garden going now with, I think, 4 or 6 kiddie pools. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her for trying. I'm proud of her for taking some initiative. I hate that she's worried about food supply, because that's one of the reasons she wanted to do it. With this quarantine we're in, she was worried about food security. So I had some extra seeds that I had left over from previous years of gardening, and I picked out some things to take over to her. And I was just going to leave them on the front porch and go because, she's pregnant with my grandson, 6 months pregnant. And my grandbaby lives there, and my husband's still going to work every day. And I didn't want a chance spreading the love around to my family. Well, when I got there to deliver the seeds, my son-in-law apparently heard the truck, so he opened the door to the house, and I waved at him and hollered, "Hey, I'm just here for the seeds." I said, "Go get me some Lysol so I can spray them." And that's what I intended to do, was disinfect them before I sent them in the house. Well, my Grand Millie heard me, and she came to the door to see her granny. And she wanted to tell me about how she cut her own hair, and she wanted to tell me about her toys, and I had to stand 6 feet away from her. And I think she was really confused because she kept acting like she wanted to come out. And I kept telling her, "No, stay there, stay there." I said, "Granny doesn't want to make you sick." And y'all, that was the hardest thing I've done in a very long time. Normally, I pick her up and I love on her and give her kisses and hugs, and I had to stand 6 feet away from her and blow big old kisses to her. And that was really upsetting. So screw you, coronavirus. I understand it's for the best. I understand it's protecting them. But boy, that was hard, and I cried half the way home. So, anyhow, I hope everybody's doing all right through this. I really do. I know life has changed a lot in the past 2 months. I didn't even realize how much my life had changed until the other day when I dropped those seeds off. But anyhow, look, one of my favorite things in the world to do is sit right here on this porch swing and watch my garden grow. Let's get started on this tour, and I'll show y'all what I've grown so far, okay? First off, what I'm going to do is give you guys an overview of the whole garden. Now, this garden is much, much smaller than the garden I had at my other house. But we just moved in here in October, and we have spent the spring getting this thing ready. I want to tell you guys, I've got 2 trellises here, one in the front, one in the back. And I'm going to plant some Chinese noodle beans on this first one, and some Kajari melons, which are kind of like cantaloupes, but they're smaller, on the back one. probably some cucumbers on the back one too. I haven't decided if I'm going to put planters down the side here so that something could climb up the other side. But these beds here were made from some leftover vinyl that I found in that shed, and that was completely free. I did have to buy the fencing and the T-posts to make my trellises with. This fence that goes along this side here was free. A neighbor gave it to me, so I only spent $22 to go all the way around, the rest of the way around the garden. This trellis here, right there, was made from leftover wood and leftover chicken wire. And then that trellis there was made from some leftover wood and some of the fencing that I bought for these trellises. The little teepee things are wood that we chopped up from the crepe myrtle that we cut down. Now, I guess I will start in this first bed. Right here, I have yellow crookneck squash growing. There's 3 plants there. These 3 plants here are a variety of different peppers. The first one is a gypsy pepper. The second one is a red bell. And the third one is a banana pepper. And this little lone tomato over here is a black cherry tomato. And if you'll notice, down here in the ground, I've got little green plants coming up everywhere. Those are not weeds. What those are plants that I threw in there just to see if they'll grow this time of year in this particular garden. They're beets, turnips, and radishes. Those are usually cooler season plants. We're going to see what they do. Now, I'm going to come to the right to my raised bed that's off the ground. All of these are my determinate tomatoes. That means that they will be finished by June. I can pull them out and put something else in here. I also have some onions planted right there. And down here, I've got some more experimental radishes and Swiss chard right there. And then there are 4 cantaloupe plants right there. And what I'll do is I'll make a trellis, and it's going to go all the way to the end of that bed right there so that the cantaloupes don't have to be on the ground. This second bed, these are black crim tomatoes, my favorite. One of my favorites. The other favorite I have is called Virginia Sweets. And then we have Landreth's bush beans, and down on the end are 3 zucchini plants. And there's some radishes growing right there in front of the zucchini. Now, this is a hodgepodge of stuff here. I've got those things in pots that I bought from Lowe's a couple weeks ago. There's mint. I've got some basil and rosemary, and over there is some Thai basil. These little seedlings here are sunflowers and zinnias. And some didn't come up this year, so I'm thinking about replanting my seeds and doing them all in that back bed. And have that bed be nothing but flowers and use this bed for food. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. But we got everything mulched, thank goodness. I'm so happy that the yard is mulched. Oh, see this well pump here? This is old. My father gave it to me. It was on his property in Georgia. And I asked him if I could have it, and he said sure. So my husband is going to take the weekend and get all that rust off, and we're going to paint it so it can, last and be pretty in the garden. Oh, in that red planter back there are 4 cucumber plants. They're bush cucumbers. So they call them bush cucumbers, but really what they are is cucumbers with shorter vines on them so that they can go in a smaller garden and not take over. The future plans for this garden are to add another bed just like this right there next to it. And we have a about 2 more trellises to build. But other than that, it's completed. I've got it planted. I can't wait to see it bursting at the seams with food. Well, what'd you think of my garden tour? Go ahead and leave me a comment below and let me know if you have any questions. I am in Zone 9 in South Mississippi. So everything that I plant and everything that I talk about will strictly pertain to growing food in Zone 9. You know, I get so irritated when I go to a YouTube channel and people are using these blanket statements about, oh, now's a perfect time to plant tomatoes, and it's the middle of May. Well, if I don't get my tomatoes in the ground by March 15th, I'm late. So, you know, every zone has its own little quirks, its own requirements, and its own timing. And I'll be keeping y'all updated. I'm very much looking forward to watching this garden grow and seeing what I can do and what I can't do. Well, if you've made it this far through my garden tour, that means you must like what I'm putting out there for you. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you again real soon. All right?